121, 122.
Доброе утро, уважаемые коллеги.
Good morning, colleagues.
Сердечно приветствую всех участников 24-го заседания Совета
We continue the 24th meeting of the SCO Heads of Government Council, and I welcome you to the National Center Russia in Moscow. Russia concludes its chairmanship in the Council, which aimed to expand trade, economic and humanitarian cooperation within the SCO. And I thank all the states for constructive partnership. We have an extensive agenda today, and I offer to get down to work. I thank representatives of the media. We'll meet you soon. Thank you. Colleagues, as the tradition goes, the Russian side, as the chair of the SCO Heads of Government Council, will be the first to speak. Thank you, dear friends. Colleagues, the world economy is undergoing fundamental changes with the ongoing technological transformation and widespread use of artificial intelligence. We have discussed these areas, including technological changes with many of you. Digitalization covers almost all industrial sectors and centers of economic growth, and international trade shift towards Asia, Africa, and Latin America. In this context, the West tightens monetary policy, steps up illegitimate sanctions, and is trying to restrict access for the states of global East and South to high-tech and natural resources. These challenges and threats require SCO's collective response. We should protect the sustainable development of our national economies from external risks to ensure technological and financial sovereignty and to strengthen energy and food security of the Eurasian macro-region. Next year, we will mark We don't receive the sound. Interpreters have no sound.
Дорогие друзья,
Dear friends,
прошу вас проверить, что
please
работает
make
перевод
sure
синхронно.
that you receive simultaneous
Мы
interpretation,
начнем.
and we'll start our work soon.
Все готовы?
Everyone is ready?
Уважаемые коллеги,
Colleagues,
мы
we
продолжаем
continue
нашу
our
работу
work
здесь, в Национальном
in
центре
the
России,
National Center
теперь
of
в
Russia,
расширенном составе
now
с
in the
участием
expanded
приглашенных глав
format
правительств,
with
руководителей
the heads of
международных
government and
организаций.
international
Хотел бы
organizations
поприветствовать
attending our meeting. I would like to extend my greetings to the Prime Minister of Mongolia and observer state of the SCO, His Excellency Zandan Shatar, as well as Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Qatar, His Excellency Al-Thani, and all the guests attending our meeting. I propose that move on to the speeches in line with the approved agenda and allow me to speak on behalf of the Russian Federation. The Russian President Vladimir Putin pointed out at the SCO summit in September in China that the Shanghai Cooperation Organization brings together like-minded countries that are committed to the idea of building a just multipolar world order. Last year, the aggregate export of our countries made up a fifth of the world's total exports, and the share of SCO economies represented a third in the global GDP. It is predicted that in 2025 it will grow even more and will amount to 35%. Today, the SCO includes 10 countries, 2 observer states, and 15 dialect partners. The geography of our organization covers almost the entire Eurasia. It is important to use to the maximum benefit the enormous cumulative potential to improve the well-being of our citizens, of our states. That was the focus of the Russian chairmanship in the SCO Heads of Government Council, and we concentrated on the promotion of the trade, economic investment, and financial cooperation. We were actively involved in the work of the SCO Business and Youth Council's Interbank Consortium Forum of Heads of SCO member states, regions, and other SCO structures. It is important to build a just and resilient energy development model that complies with the principles of equality, mutual responsibility, and technological partnership. To enhance transport connectivity, we need to expand infrastructure of international corridors and to create favorable conditions for rail transport and to use modern digital technologies and services. In agriculture, we offer to enhance cooperation in breeding and seed production, innovative agriculture. Therefore, we will be able to increase production so that our consumers will have access to the various food products of good quality, which is necessary for ensuring global food security and stability of agricultural markets. To realize joint plans, the robust independent financial infrastructure is required, and the special expert group created at the Russian initiative will work on its improvement, and I would like to thank for supporting this proposal. Colleagues, our cooperation is carried out in the most promising areas, including innovations, AI, platform economy, outer space technologies, climate agenda, and the Russian chairmanship paid special attention to strengthening technological sovereignty and industrial cooperation. Creative industries have become another engine of economic growth. Experts estimate that the products of the SCO countries represent 37% in the global exports, but our potential is even higher. We can fulfill it by launching joint projects, creating mechanisms of assistance to businessmen in this sector, and I hope that everyone will be actively involved in addressing such challenges. Tens of millions of talented persons live in the SCO region, and we need to support their creative plans. Our countries are bound by common historical memory, respect for culture and traditions of one another. Together we celebrated the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War and establishment of the United Nations. We have many opportunities to strengthen cooperation in science, education, healthcare, youth contacts, culture, arts, tourism, and sports. Such initiatives are in demand among our citizens, and there is no doubt about it, and we need to start their practical implementation as soon as possible. Colleagues, friends, directions for our further joint action were approved by the heads of state in the SCO development strategy until 2035. The Russian President Vladimir Putin highlighted that it defines main areas of the SCO's work in policy, economy, security, and humanitarian field. I am confident that by taking joint action, we will ensure the realization of these strategic plans. Thank you for your attention. I would like to give the floor to the Prime Minister of Belarus, Alexander Turchin. Your Excellency, Mr. Mishustin, colleagues, SCO was created as a community for ensuring as a political community for ensuring security and peace, but in a quarter of century, new member states and dialogue partners joined organization, and SCO has turned into an influential and credible platform for ensuring welfare and prosperity of our people. The Tianjin Declaration, adopted by the heads of state, and a package of documents that were adopted reflect the versatile cooperation and our joint efforts. Take into account unilateral measures and economic instability. The economic component plays an important role in the SCO's work. It is important for ensuring regional peace and security, which was confirmed at the Minsk Conference on Eurasian Security that was organized in the end of September in Belarus. According to predictions, the SCO economic figures are growing. The economic potential of the SCO is unlimited. The key proposals of Belarus to strengthen the economic sovereignty of the SCO region were voiced by the President of Belarus at the SCO summit. We're talking about intensification of dialogue on trade facilitation within the framework of SCO in order to reduce trade barriers, to increase mutual trade and investment activities, creation of independent financial mechanism in order to offset the sanctions pressure, incremental increase of the share of national currencies will help to make our economic cooperation more effective. We need to create our own settlement and payment infrastructure. In this context, we support the idea to establish the SCO Development Bank that should work in full swing in all SCO member states and make our economic connections and cooperation more predictable and effective. Creation of the global Eurasian transportation hub at the track of EU and SCO will reduce the cost for businesses, providing greater access of Eurasian countries to Chinese markets. We believe that we need to ensure the practical implementation of these proposals. We also believe that it's important to increase industrial cooperation and to create strong production chains that will strengthen technological sovereignty and will reduce our dependence on external markets. One of the main vectors of the SCO cooperation is ensuring food security. Our country has ensured its own needs in the agriculture and is at the top of exporters of food products. We are ready to share our experience in this field.
The main wishes of the country is people, and on the agenda is to expand educational cooperation. Here, the Belarus side suggests to establish the Young Diplomats program of the SCO that would be focused on young diplomats, and if supported, we are ready to consider practical aspects of putting it into practice. We see good prospects for establishing the vocational training centers. They will train experts in robotics, automatization, IT. We need to think about developing by universities and colleges of the SCO of joint projects, of joint curriculum in order to train experts and to have internships in study labs, and such personnel would be an important resource to transform the industry of the SCO countries. Equally important is the development of tourism track. We urge to create joint projects for promoting medical tourism, especially when it comes to rehabilitation, and Belarus has a great deal of experience and well-developed infrastructure. This will allow us to develop tourism potential and to bolster people-to-people context. As we develop our common transport space, one of the practical steps could be bolstering air communication between cities of the SCO member states. No, I'm not talking only about capitals, but also about regional centers. Direct flights will boost inter-regional connectivity and tourism. Distinguished colleagues, our common goals should be put into specific projects, cooperation, initiatives and results that would be tangible in the life of every citizen of the SCO, and that is the main mission of our organization. I urge to actively work in this direction. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Your Excellency, I give the floor to the Minister of External Affairs of India, Subramaniam Jaishankar. Your Excellency, over to you.
Prime Minister Mishustin, Excellencies, dear colleagues, let me congratulate the Russian Federation, our special and privileged strategic partner, on the presidency of the SCO Council of the Heads of Government this year. The theme of this session covers trade, economic, cultural and humanitarian cooperation. Let me summarize India's approach to the trade and economic issues that were discussed in the last session. We assess the global economic situation to be particularly uncertain and volatile currently. Supply-side risks have been aggravated by demand-side complexities. There is consequently an urgent requirement to de-risk and diversify. This is best done by as many of us forging the widest possible economic links. For that to happen, it is essential that this process be fair, transparent and equitable. India's endeavors to conclude free trade arrangements with many of you here are relevant. Regarding culture, India's long-standing historical ties with SCO members makes it particularly pertinent. Against this backdrop, Prime Minister Modi proposed at the Tianjin SCO Summit to launch an SCO civilizational dialogue forum. As a civilizational state, India strongly believes that people-to-people exchanges lie at the core of any genuine relationship. Facilitating greater interaction between our intellectuals, artists, sports people and cultural icons will pave the way for deeper understanding across the SCO. We also have a growing record of collaborative activities with regard to cultural exchanges. The exposition of sacred Buddhist relics in many of your countries is a notable example. India is also willing to extend its considerable experience of heritage conservation in Southeast Asia to Central Asia. Regarding humanitarian cooperation, this is important in an era of climate change, pandemics and conflicts. Recognizing that, we have provided cancer treatment equipment to some SCO members. Similarly, India's supplies of vaccines and essential medicines reflected that commitment during difficult times. During the recent earthquakes in Afghanistan, Indian relief assistance reached the affected areas the very same day. Our initiative for the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure also merits your attention. Let me now turn to the modernization of the SCO. As the organization continues to evolve, India strongly supports its reform-oriented agenda. We welcome centers addressing challenges such as organized crime, drug trafficking, and cybersecurity. As the organization becomes more diverse, the SCO must be more flexible and more adaptable. To this end, the long-delayed decision to make English an official language of the SCO must be prioritized. Colleagues, Excellencies, we all recognize that the SCO must keep up with contemporary changes. That must be reflected in fresh thinking and new collaborations. India's initiatives, such as the SCO Special Working Group on Startups and Innovation and the SCO Startup Forum, are good examples. They are aimed at promoting innovation and creativity, especially targeting the younger generation. Similarly, the recent SCO's Young Authors Forum in New Delhi is a good way of strengthening people-to-people ties. Excellencies, we must never forget that the SCO was founded to combat the three evils of terrorism, separatism, and extremism. These threats have become even more serious in the years that have passed. It is imperative that the world display zero tolerance towards terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. There can be no justification, no looking away, and no whitewashing. As India has demonstrated, we have the right to defend our people against terrorism and will exercise it. In conclusion, India believes that SCO must adapt to the changing global landscape, develop an expanded agenda, and reform its working methods. We will contribute positively and fully to these objectives. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Minister. I give the floor to the first Vice President of Iran, Mr. Mohammad Rezaev. Over to you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful, Your Excellency, Prime Minister of the Russian Federation, Excellencies, Prime Ministers, distinguished heads of delegations, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to express my satisfaction to participate in this important meeting at the beautiful city of Moscow. At the same time, I would like to express my gratitude to the government and people of Russia, especially His Excellency Mishustin, for their well organization of this meeting. At the same time, I appreciate SCO for organizing this meeting. This meeting is a valuable opportunity to review past achievements, examine current challenges, and outline the future prospects of cooperation among the members of this organization. Distinguished colleagues, today, in this period, we are going through some political and technological changes. We are entering a new era. And of course, we are trying to create a new image for the world. A world based on unilateralism is facing some other challenges. In this regard, while condemning once again the Israeli aggression against Iran, which was carried out with the support and cooperation of the United States, I witnessed the inaction of the United Nations Security Council. I underline that attack on Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities, the brutal killing of civilians, and criminal operations against off-duty military forces, university professors, and the killing of women, children, and ordinary citizens are gross violations of international standards and constitute crimes against humanity and war crimes. Although the Islamic Republic of Iran is affected by the consequences of U.S. unilateralism and the crimes of the Zionist regime, we have not been and will not be oblivious to our duties and responsibilities as an active, serious, and influential actor in the field of multilateral and regional economic and development relations. The Islamic Republic of Iran has always supported true multilateralism, respect for the UN Charter, and combating the abuse of international institutions. Iran believes that global security, development, and justice can only be achieved through equal cooperation among nations and an end to the policy of sanctions and pressure in this regard. The situation in which the oppressed people of Gaza are facing famine and hunger imposed by the Zionist regime is a clear example of a crime against humanity and the continuation of genocide, and is strongly condemned. Excellencies, we are in need of collective resilience against future shocks such as energy insecurity, food insecurity, climate change, threats from new technologies, and the governing risk of monopoly and dominance in the global financial and monetary systems, which cannot be ignored. Accordingly, we are in need to move collectively towards economic integration and the formation of resilient national and regional economies. In the meantime, the SCO must become one of the driving forces of economic convergence in the region. The vast human capacities, rich natural resources, strategic geographical location, and developing infrastructure among the members of these organizations have provided us with unparalleled opportunities to expand cooperation. Dear participants, we believe that deepening trade, economic, scientific, and cultural cooperation among member states, observers, and dialogue partners should be the main focus of the organization's future activities. In this direction, utilizing the capacity of observers and dialogue partners can pave the way for expanding the common markets, transferring technology, increasing scientific and cultural exchanges, and strengthening people-to-people relations among the member states. At the recent summit of the SCO in Tianjin, the heads of member states placed a special emphasis on modernizing economic cooperation mechanisms, deepening communications between governments, and enhancing the organization's functions and activities. The formulation of the organization's 10-year development strategy, a roadmap for cooperation in the energy sector, and the issuance of numerous statements in areas such as AI, green industry, multilateral trade, scientific and technological cooperation, as well as the establishment of new centers and structures, are among the important achievements of the Tianjin summit. In this regard, the Islamic Republic of Iran stands ready to play an effective role in implementing the decisions and outcomes of the Tianjin summit and achieving the development goals of the SCO, and to assist and participate in advancing these goals and initiatives, such as strengthening financial mechanisms based on national currencies, developing sustainable transport infrastructure, and facilitating the movement of goods and passengers, producing joint products, promoting research innovation centers for the development of new technologies and products, and strengthening cooperation in key areas such as the digital economy and AI. Distinguished guests, one of the important components in the success of the SCO is the role of the private sectors. The Islamic Republic of Iran underlines the development of the activities of the SCO Business Council and Interbank Union, and the strengthening of their operational functions and connections with joint economic and industrial projects. The Business Council can become an important platform to expand direct communication between the private sectors, develop trade and investment in the member countries of the organization, and facilitate the implementation of the joint projects, especially in the fields of digitalization, AI, and green technologies. Distinguished colleagues, Iran's economic diplomacy is based on developing relations with neighboring and friendly countries and activity in transit corridors for goods and passengers. Iran considers the creation and promotion of economic and transport corridors essential to facilitate trade, ensure the security of supply chains, food security, reduce poverty, and increase regional integration. In this regard, Iran stands ready to cooperate to develop independent and safe transit corridors. Finally, I would like to strongly emphasize that cooperation between Iran and the member states of the SCO is a long-term strategy for creating a powerful region by strengthening national sovereignty, facilitating transportation and trade, enhancing energy security, developing technology, creating common financial and banking infrastructure, and increasing people-to-people contacts. I hope that the outcomes of this meeting will be another step towards strengthening mutual trust, sustainable development, and convergence among the SCO member states. In conclusion, once again, I would like to express my gratitude to the Russian government for holding this meeting. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I give the floor to the Prime Minister of Kazakhstan. Your Excellency, over to you. Excellency, Mr. Mishustin, distinguished heads of delegations and participants to today's session. At the outset, I would like to thank the Russian side and you personally, Mr. Mishustin, for the warm welcome and the superb organization of today's event at the high level. The Russian chairmanship in the Heads of Government Council gave an important impetus to strengthening trade, economic and investment, as well as cultural ties in the region. Today's session of the Council is taking place in a broad, extended format, engaging dialogue partners, which clearly testifies to our aspiration to new forms of interstate relations to benefit peace and progress. Amid global challenges, the SCO develops long-term solutions to achieve sustainable development goals and to overcome current challenges. We believe it is important to keep on beefing up the SCO capabilities, taking into account the pillars of the organization, strengthening trust, friendship, and good neighborly relations. I'm confident that today's session will allow us not only to have a comprehensive overview of the tasks faced by the SCO, but also to make a significant contribution to further development of this organization. Dear colleagues, almost 25 years ago, the establishment of the SCO was linked to the need to jointly use the opportunities that are opening up in the 21st century, and today the SCO countries account for a third of the global GDP. Their internal trade reaches $1 trillion. We have enormous economic potential, and the organization seeks to have a comprehensive economic growth building upon an equal partnership. President Tokayev of Kazakhstan at the summit in Tianjin supported the practical efforts of the SCO that are aimed at developing a free and fair international trade. Against this backdrop, we need to develop and to put into practice the existing resources to incentivize trade. An important track here is the SCO Development Bank, as well as the mechanism to accompany investment projects. We express our readiness to make use of the Astana International Financial Center to advance specific projects. We also need to improve transport connectivity. According to the World Bank, the successful implementation of transport and logistic projects within the Belt and Road Initiative will have an impact on global trade to increase it by 6% annually. Today, Kazakhstan is one of the key transit hubs in Eurasia. Over the past 5 years alone, the volume of transit via Kazakhstan has almost doubled. We plan to continue to increase the transit potential to reach 100 million tons by 2035. Through our country, 5 railroad corridors are passing, and we intend to keep up with our effort to build the transport capability of our country, to increase and enhance the transport infrastructure, port infrastructure on the Caspian Sea. Another important track is the efficient use of the artificial intelligence. Given the global digitalization, the SCO is becoming a flagship project in artificial intelligence. We believe it is timely to establish the permanent expert forum on artificial intelligence, and the first session will take place next year in Astana on the sidelines of Digital Bridge Forum. Overall, Kazakhstan sets ambitious goals. Within the 3 years' time, we need to become a fully digitized country. Another fundamental issue is the balance of sustainable growth and environment. Difficult economic environmental situation, namely degrading water resources, requires joint efforts to develop efficient strategies to combat this challenge. Kazakhstan suggests we create the Water Study Center and we invite partner countries to take part in the regional environmental summit that will take place next year in Astana. The SCO is unique because of its civilizational legacy, as well as the Shanghai spirit aimed at respect to the cultural diversity. We believe that such important initiatives as the Kazakhstan Union of Global and Traditional Religions, together with the Global Initiative of Civilizations, will help ensure inclusivity and equality in the world. Your Excellency, dear colleagues, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is not just a cooperation platform, it is a space to build trust. It is especially important in our dynamic and turmoil world, and the prosperity, the responsibility for prosperity require collective approaches and consolidated solutions. We support the agreed upon documents under the agenda and we are ready to put them into practice. I'm confident that the outcome of today's session will set a foundation for the versatile cooperation in the region for the benefit of our peoples. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Your Excellency. I give the floor to the Prime Minister of the State Council of PRC, Mr. Li Qian.
Your Excellency Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, dear colleagues, it is a great pleasure to meet you again at the SCO meeting of heads of government. Over the past year, we have witnessed quite a few new changes in the international landscape. The rise in unilateral and protectionist practices, especially high tariffs and other economic and trade barriers, has seriously undermined the international economic and trade order and posed tremendous challenges to the development of many countries. At the SCO Tianjin Summit last September, President Xi Jinping solemnly put forward the Global Governance Initiative, or GGI, elaborating on the principles, methods, and approaches that need to be followed for reforming and improving global governance. It offers China's wisdom and proposals for navigating global transformations and tackling pressing challenges through international cooperation. The SCO, as an important force for the development and reform of global governance system, is well positioned and able to play a bigger role in promoting good governance of the world by seizing the opportunity of joint implementation of the GGI. I believe we can focus our efforts on 3 fronts. First, we should fully leverage the unique strengths of the SCO. Since its founding, the SCO has actively participated in international and regional affairs and developed a unique set of principles and approaches to handling affairs, which provide favorable conditions for implementing the GGI. The first favorable condition is we share highly compatible views. The SCO has made it clear since its very inception that it aims to make the international political and economic order more democratic, just, and reasonable. Over the years, the SCO has stayed true to the Shanghai spirit of mutual trust, mutual benefit, equality, consultation, respect for diversity of civilizations, and pursuit of common development. All these are in perfect alignment with the core concepts of the GGI. The second favorable condition is we have gained rich experience in practice. Overcoming differences in history, culture, and social system, the SCO member states have properly handled disagreements and disputes, built up mutual trust and understanding, and explored a new model of relationship featuring harmony with diversity, mutual assistance in times of need, and mutual benefit and win-win. This has enabled us to uphold peace and stability in the region and set a fine example for improving global governance. The third favorable condition is we have built robust institutions. The SCO is not engaged in forming exclusive small circles. Rather, it has openly embraced like-minded partners and established more than 50 cooperation mechanisms covering politics, economy, security, people-to-people exchanges, and other fields. We have built effective platforms for equal consultation and shared development. We must fully leverage these strengths to play a more proactive role in global governance. Second, we should focus on the two key areas, namely development and security. To reform and improve global governance, all parties need to build consensus and act in coordination. Many problems facing the world today still need to be addressed through development and require a safe and stable environment. We should continue to promote development and security by enhancing cooperation and strive to achieve more governance outcomes. On the one hand, we should jointly build an open and inclusive world economy. The international community wants fewer barriers, more openness, smooth economic and trade flows, and a boost to global economic recovery. China hopes to further synergize development strategies with fellow SCO countries, pursue high-quality implementation of the Belt and Road Initiative, implement the action plan for high-quality development of economic and trade cooperation, and move faster on infrastructure, trade, and financial connectivity, so as to inject positive energy for the stability and smooth functioning of supply chains and universally beneficial and inclusive economic globalization. On the other hand, we should promote universal security and lasting peace. Amid the changing and turbulent international landscape, the SCO should further strengthen its security cooperation mechanisms. China will work with all parties to expedite the institutional building of the 4 security centers, so as to enable them to play a key role at an early date. We should bravely serve as a strong pillar in this turbulent world and urge the international community to uphold multilateralism, defend fairness and justice, respect each other's legitimate concerns, and jointly safeguard peace and tranquility. Third, we should galvanize strong momentum for innovation and transformation. Digital, intelligent, and green development serve as important pathways to a better future. To strengthen global governance, we should encourage all parties to actively pool their strengths in relevant areas and share in the opportunities and outcomes together. We should jointly foster and strengthen new growth drivers. Scientific and technological achievements like AI are the commonwealth of humanity. Deliberately obstructing technological exchanges or creating developmental divides will only plunge the world into more disputes. The SCO should enhance cooperation in scientific, technological, and industrial innovation. China welcomes all parties to actively participate in the SCO Digital Economy Forum and the China SCO Artificial Intelligence Cooperation Forum, and to jointly build and make good use of the China SCO Digital Economy Cooperation Platform and the China SCO Sci-Tech Innovation Cooperation Center, so that technological progress better benefits our peoples. We should jointly advance green and low-carbon transformation. Energy cooperation has always been a priority of the SCO. We should continue advancing cooperation in areas such as the clean and efficient use of traditional energy and renewable energy power generation units to contribute to the global response to climate change. China is also ready to work with fellow SCO countries for solid strides in the program of increasing the installed capacity of photovoltaic and wind power each by 10 million kilowatts in the next 5 years, and better advance sustainable development in the region and beyond. Together with all parties, China stands ready to give each other firmer support and pursue closer solidarity and collaboration. with a view to jointly reforming and improving global governance and creating a peaceful, stable, and prosperous future for our region and the world. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I give the floor to the Chairman of the Ministers' Cabinet of Kyrgyzstan. Thank you. Excellency Mr. Mishustin, distinguished heads of government, I'm cordially happy to greet participants to this session. I join the words of appreciation to the Russian side, and I express my appreciation to the head of the Russian government, His Excellency Mr. Mishustin, for the traditional hospitality and the outstanding organization of today's session. I am positive that the outcome and decisions of today's session will give a new momentum to the development of our organization. I would like to congratulate our Chinese colleagues over the successful presidency of the SCO in 2024-2025. In its turn, Kyrgyzstan assumed over the presidency of our organization, and we have actively started implementing this important mission in line with the concept of our presidency within the SCO. We will further work to strengthen the international standing of the SCO and improve the role of the organization as an important part of the international world order. Dear colleagues, our presidency has the motto 25 years of SCO towards sustainable peace, development and prosperity. The President of the Kyrgyz Republic at the summit in Tianjin outlined the main priorities for our chairmanship, and namely these are increased economic interaction, establishing effective financial mechanisms of the SCO, and strengthening cooperation in ensuring regional security and stability throughout the SCO space. We look forward to the active participation of our colleagues in meetings scheduled in our country and in other countries as well. Amid global changes, the international policy and economy, it is especially important to join hands to overcome modern threats and challenges, to put into practice the previous decisions in key documents that seek to deepen economic integration and increase competitiveness of our region. This is our common priority, and in this context, the SCO development strategy until 2035 will become the benchmark and the guideline for our joint efforts for the upcoming 10 years. Dear colleagues, Kyrgyzstan considers SCO as a key platform to deepen economic integration, to deepen mutual trade, to attract investment, and to introduce innovation. Trade and economic cooperation of Kyrgyzstan with SCO countries shows sustainable positive momentum. For 2020-2024, our trade with SCO countries increased by 3.5 times. SCO countries in the overall Kyrgyz trade following 8 months of this year rank 75%. To keep this positive momentum, trade and economic indicators, we need to further strengthen trade ties and develop joint innovation. In this regard, allow me to draw your attention to 5 key pillars. First, improving, simplifying the trade procedures. Against the current context, alleviating barriers in mutual trade is key. We actively support digitalization of customs procedures. In Kyrgyzstan, the smart customs system allowed us to decrease the time from 5 to 1 hour. We stand for streamlining our checkpoints, and we believe that simplifying trade procedures, improving the efficiency of checkpoints will improve trade and increase it. Second, transport connectivity. Today in Kyrgyzstan, we're actively building international railroads, car, highways, and air routes. We are ready to make our contribution to enhance interconnectivity within the SCO and to be a credible transport hub inside our organization. Our practical efforts in include increasing transport capabilities, and let me note the projects that we implement in Kyrgyzstan. The flagship project, naturally, is the construction of the railroad Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. The implementation of this project is keeping up, and we have started building a new railroad, Baskom-Bebel-Akhsur. It will become an additional transport artery between the regions of Central Asia and China. Kyrgyzstan is interested in swift joining to trilateral intergovernmental agreement on international car transportation via Asian highways between Russia, China and Mongolia, and the development of air connectivity between SCO countries and Southeast Asia. This will be contributed by the second air corridor, Kyrgyzstan-China. We opened it on October 30th this year. Third, investment and finance. To have the sustainable growth of the whole SCO region, we believe that huge potential is held by the bank cooperation, as well as introducing modern financial tools. We support the transition to a more active use of national currencies in our settlements, as well as an alternative stable payment system. We believe that it is high overdue to establish the SCO Development Bank. It will become a key financial instrument to support joint projects. We need to note the key role of the SCO in attracting direct foreign investment and incentivizing regional growth. We believe it is important to coordinate investment projects, including joint industrial, energy and infrastructure initiatives. Fourth, digitalization. Today, the SCO is in full line with the digital age. It is a platform to exchange knowledge and best practices in cybersecurity, e-management, and improving digital literacy. Getting back to practical steps, the Kyrgyz Republic proposes to consider the joint SCO initiatives to data centers and joint facilities. The development of such centers is a strategic step. It would not also only ensure secure storage of data in the region, it would improve the efficiency of our mechanism. It will also set the foundation for training AI models, building upon our own data. The Kyrgyz side suggests that we place one of the data centers in our territory, using our growing digital potential and favorable conditions for energy efficiency. The establishment of such infrastructure would be an important step towards common digital space, and it would strengthen the technological sovereignty. We prioritize the youth in the development of innovative technologies and startups. As part of our chairmanship, we plan next year to hold the Youth Digital Forum of the SCO. Fifth, tourism. We consider tourism as a tool of public diplomacy. Kyrgyzstan implements key infrastructure projects that seek to create conditions for future development of tourism in our country. And it is encouraging that over the past 9 months, Kyrgyzstan was visited some 8 million citizens of SCO countries. As part of our chairmanship, we plan to hold a number of events, including an international tourism exhibition. Next year, we will continue the cult marathon of SCO. It became a good tradition. The marathon will start in Jakarta, the tourism capital of the SCO. Dear colleagues, the key pillars for building trust and cooperation is the cultural and humanitarian cooperation. It brings our peoples closer in order to preserve and raise awareness of the unique legacy of nomads. In autumn, we plan to have 6th Nomad Games, and we invite all of you to send cultural and sports delegations to take an active part in these games. They became the Nomad Olympics, so to speak. As part of cultural and humanitarian cooperation, our presidency within the SCO has a lot of bright initiatives under the SCO aegis. In summer 2026, we'll have an anniversary meeting of SCO Intellectual Forum. It was established in 1886 by the great author. It is an international platform to discuss the future of humankind. I kindly ask you to support this initiative as a contribution to advance the philosophy of the SCO spirit. Distinguished members of the delegation, dear colleagues, by way of concluding, I would like to express my appreciation appreciation to the Russian head of government, Mr. Mishustin, for the efficient and fruitful chairmanship of Russia in the Council of Heads of Government. I also congratulate Tajikistan over the presidency in the Council of Heads of State, and I express my readiness to further cooperate for the benefit of our countries and peoples. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Now I give the floor to the Deputy Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Ishaq Dar. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Excellency Mikhail, Mishustin, Prime Minister of the Russian Federation and Chairman of the SCO Council of Heads of Government, Honorable Heads of Delegations of SCO Member States, worthy guests of the Chair, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon, Dobre Den. Allow me first to congratulate Honorable Prime Minister of the Russian Federation, Excellency Mishustin, on the successful holding of the SCO Council of Heads of Government meeting this morning. The joint communique and other important documents being adopted today will go a long way in guiding and strengthening our efforts for achieving shared objectives of prosperity of our people. Excellencies, the agenda before us, spanning trade, economy, culture, and humanitarian cooperation, is the basis of a mature, future-oriented SCO. Pakistan views them as interconnected threads in a single, stronger fabric of regional partnership. The Tianjin summit was a clear signal that our organization is evolving with the resolve to harness the full spectrum of our collective potential. By focusing on economic integration through expanded trade collaboration, improved infrastructure connectivity, investment partnerships, advancement of cross-border trade corridors, and the promotion of digital economic development, the SCO has established a foundation for sustainable economic progress throughout the SCO space. Excellencies, the SCO is well placed to promote regional cooperation in dealing with emergency situations and to extend cooperation in the humanitarian field among ourselves and for others in need. Pakistan has developed a technology-driven, proactive disaster management system. We are keen to organize simulation exercises with SCO partners to bolster disaster preparedness across the region. Excellencies, our discussions at Tianjin underscored the need to modernize our outreach. The value of our observer and partner states is immense. Let us move from a model of passive observation to a one of real engagement. Let us invite them to participate, not as guests on the periphery, but as stakeholders in specific project-based initiatives that align with their expertise and our collective goals. Excellencies, this way we can create a flexible, multi-tiered model of cooperation that would benefit all. An important feature of the modernization of the SCO is the introduction of English as a working language. Let us move forward from political declarations and establish translation unit. The SCO can attract more partners and achieve wider goal influence with this only one step. Excellencies, to translate the momentum of Tianjin into tangible progress, we suggest greater focus on practical, cross-cutting initiatives. Therefore, we propose to 1. Operationalize financial tools for the promotion of trade and economy. While our efforts continue to make available diversified financial tools such as the SCO Development Bank and Development and Investment Funds for our economies and businesses, we must aggressively utilize the tools already at our disposal, like the SCO Interbank Consortium to finance connectivity and technical collaboration projects. Number 2, build human capital. The ultimate resource of the SCO is our people. the empowerment of our youth is of foremost importance. We must invest in them directly. Pakistan therefore advocates for a significant expansion of the SCO university network into a consortium for applied knowledge. This would facilitate not just student exchanges, but also joint research programs in critical fields such as information technology, artificial intelligence, water resource management, agriculture, and telemedicine, addressing the common challenges with shared intellect. Excellencies, Pakistan is committed to being a proactive and creative partner in the journey. Let us build an SCO that is a launchpad for shared success, where every connection made, commercial, cultural, or intellectual, strengthens the whole. Let us ensure that the legacy of our work is a region more innovative, more interconnected, and more integrated than ever before. I thank you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency Dar. Now I give the floor to the Prime Minister of Tajikistan, Mikhail. Thank you, Your Excellency Mikhail Mishustin. Colleagues, allow me to express my deep appreciation to the government of the Russian Federation and personally to you, Your Excellency, Mr. Mishustin, for the perfect organization of this important meeting of the SCO Heads of Government Council. We welcome all participants of this meeting in the expanded format, and we welcome the joint work that was in particular carried out by the Russian chairmanship in the SCO Heads of Government Council for providing strategic content for the agenda and for strengthening practical cooperation within the framework of the organization. In this context, we would like to commend the outcomes of the Tanzania summit that gave a new impetus to the SCO's development. Distinguished participants, today's global world is characterized by diverse challenges like geopolitical tensions, instability of the world economy, technological competition, and climate crisis. In this context, there is a high need for regional unity and for finding common solutions to the most urgent issues. As it was stated repeatedly by the President of Tajikistan, Emomali Rahmon, SCO is an efficient mechanism to counter new challenges and threats together, as well as SCO is a new platform for developing strategic initiatives on ensuring long-term stability and economic development. Talking about the key aspects of economic cooperation, I would like to underscore that Tajikistan views trade and economic ties with the SCO member states as a strategically important area of its foreign economic activities. Despite external factors, the economy of Tajikistan is growing confidently. It will grow by 8% in 2025. It is important that more than two-thirds of our foreign trade is made up by the SCO's member states, and this figure will continue to grow. We believe that the important condition for our cooperation is the implementation of the main documents of the SCO, including the SCO development strategy for economic development until 2030.
Эффективного финансового инструмента для поддержки крупных совместных проектов. Основой для такого предметного сотрудничества является транспортная связанность. Для улучшения трансграничных перевозок Таджикистан предложил создать единую цифровую платформу ШОС для управления мультимодальными перевозками. Ее внедрение позволит значительно повысить эффективность логистических маршрутов и уменьшить затраты. Мы также приглашаем внешних партнеров ШОС присоединиться к межправительственному соглашению о создании благоприятных условий для международных автомобильных перевозок, подписанным в Душанбе в 2014 году. Кроме того, большой потенциал заложен в промышленной кооперации. Мы предлагаем странам семьи ШОС усилить сотрудничество в горнодобывающей, текстильной, пищевой и инновационных отраслях, а также в сфере зеленых технологий. Для укрепления продовольственной безопасности мы предлагаем создать региональные электронные платформы сельхозпродукции. Это сделает торговлю более прозрачной и обеспечит устойчивость поставок продовольствия в нашем регионе. Одним из перспективных направлений является сотрудничество в области энергетики. В русле тенденции развития зеленой энергетики Мы подтверждаем наше стремление к реализации проектов по наращиванию своих гидроэнергетических ресурсов посредством модернизации существующих и строительства новых ГЭС, включая Рагунскую ГЭС. Мы убеждены, что подобные проекты помогут создать основу для будущей зеленой интеграции региона ШОС. Таджикистан активно продвигает глобальную повестку по воде и климату. В связи с этим позвольте отметить, что в мае 2026 года в Душанбе, согласно резолюции Генеральной Ассамблеи ООН, пройдет 4-я международная конференция высокого уровня по десятилетию действий «Вода для устойчивого развития». Приглашаем все страны ШОС принять активное участие в этом важном международном форуме. Мы рассчитываем на поддержку со стороны ШОС и готовы к сотрудничеству в области водной дипломатии, экологических инноваций, устойчивого землепользования и противодействия климатическим угрозам. Уважаемые коллеги, завершая обзор приоритетов, хочу подчеркнуть, ШОС – это не только экономический союз, но и общее культурное, историческое и гуманитарное пространство, сформированное веками взаимодействия наших народов. Это пространство доверия, взаимопонимания и открытости. Следовательно, особую значимость Таджикистан придает развитию гуманитарного сотрудничества. Образование, культура, туризм и молодежные обмены играют ключевую роль в формировании общего будущего. Мы выступаем за развитие гуманитарных обменов, поддерживаем проекты туристической и культурной столицы ШОС, одновременно предлагаем расширить деятельность университета ШОС и студенческий обмен. С целью укрепления контактов между нашими народами хочу сообщить, что в марте 2026 года в Душанбе состоится форум молодежи стран ШОС, который станет важной площадкой для расширения контактов и сотрудничества нашей молодежи. Уважаемые коллеги, в заключение хотелось бы отметить, что, принимая на себя председательство в Совете глав правительств ШОС, Республика Таджикистан сконцентрирует усилия на дальнейшей стратегической актуализации экономической повестки организации.
Efforts on the further strategic update of the SCO's economic agenda. Tajikistan hopes to have a constructive cooperation with all SCO member states, and it is committed to make a contribution to the SCO's development as a space of peace, development and prosperity. Now I give the floor to the Prime Minister of Uzbekistan, Abdullah Aripov. First of all, allow me to express my sincere appreciation to the Russian Federation and to the Prime Minister of the Russian Federation, Mikhail Mishustin, for extending us a warm welcome and for the impeccable organization of our meeting. I share the evaluations made today for the progressive development of the SCO and its growing contribution to strengthening economic and humanitarian cooperation. Colleagues, in today's difficult conditions of the global economy, the priority of our organization is to ensure the sustainable development of national economies and to provide greater prosperity and well-being for the citizens of our countries. In a quarter of a century, more countries joined SCO. SCO has become a factor for mutually beneficial cooperation in the Eurasian space. At the same time, we have still to use many opportunities for increasing our multilateral cooperation. Following the Tianjin summit in September 2025, the main areas of cooperation and the development of cooperation in the main areas were identified. Speaking at the SCO Summit, the President of Uzbekistan, His Excellency Mirziyoyev, has put forward a number of important initiatives aimed at building the potential and credibility of our organization. Allow me to present a few of them and the ways how to implement them. First, it is important to consolidate our efforts to reduce tariff barriers and to harmonize standards and development of e-commerce platforms to stimulate industrial cooperation and to use innovations. We believe that the early adoption of the Agreement on Trade Facilitation in the SCO and the program of the relevant cooperation in the field of e-commerce will create all the necessary favorable conditions for that. Second, the adoption of a set of measures to stimulate mutual investment and creation of a network of joint ventures and funds in support of startups and innovative projects will also make a positive first step. We offer to introduce tools of financial support for regional infrastructure and industrial projects. We are ready to organize in Uzbekistan next year the first investment forum, SCO Invest, that will become an effective platform for the constant dialogue of our business community. Third, it is important to create effective transportation routes that will ensure the connection of our countries with the global corridors. In this regard, we support the development of the concept of a common transportation area in the SCO that will create new multimodal networks, digital platforms and digital corridors for the accelerated movement of cargo, as well as to interlink it with the initiative One Belt, One Road. Fourth, we offer to take measures to proactively promote our partnerships in science, technology and innovations that play an important role in developing our economies. The development of networks of technological and industrial hubs will facilitate the development of advanced solutions. Fifth, in order to promote cultural diversity and values of the SCO family, we offer to establish a cultural dialogue of the Great Silk Road. On this occasion, I would like to express my appreciation to all the SCO partners for their active participation in the 43rd session of the UNESCO General Conference that, for the first time of 40 years, was organized in Samarkand and outside of Paris. Next, an important contribution to ensuring climate resilience and green development could be ensured by the launch of a regional platform on adaptation to climate change, decarbonization, use of AI, in order to predict the relevant ecological risks. We offer to discuss these and other relevant issues on the climate agenda in 2026 in Uzbekistan at the first ever meeting of the Special Working Group of the SCO on climate change. Friends, I'm convinced that today's meeting will facilitate the further expansion of mutually beneficial and results-oriented cooperation and will improve the work of our organization. In conclusion, I would like to wish our Kyrgyz friends every success in performing their responsible mission of chairmanship in the SCO, and our Tajik friends their successful chairmanship in the SCO Heads of Government Council next year. Thank you. I thank His Excellency Aripov. Now we give the floor to the invited heads of government. I give the floor to His Excellency Zandan Shatar. Thank you. Your Excellency, Mr. Mishustin, Chairman of the Government of the Russian Federation, distinguished heads of delegation, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I want to express my deep gratitude to His Excellency Mikhail Mishustin, Chairman of the Government of the Russian Federation, for successfully hosting the expanded meeting of the Council of Heads of Government of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in your country and for welcoming us so warmly. Since its establishment, the SCO has continuously expanded its scope of activities, making valuable contributions to strengthening regional peace and security, ensuring sustainable development, and promoting cooperation among member and observer states. Over time, it has evolved into a prestigious and influential organization, not only in the region, but also on the international stage. I am fully confident that the SCO will continue to make its due contribution to the regional and global peace, security, and sustainable development. In particular, I believe it will work more proactively to broaden trade, investment, and economic cooperation and strengthen mutual understanding and trust among the participating states. Today,
Today the world is facing turmoil, and the key to overcoming these challenges is the collective force. To address many international climate and economic challenges, we need trust and mutual respect. In this context, the spirit of Shanghai, building upon the United Nations principle, is an important pillar to strengthen peace, security, and sustainable development not only in our region, but also in the whole world. We believe that regional cooperation is part of the international cooperation. Mongolia strives to develop cooperation building upon multi-pillar foreign policy and respect. We prioritize such kind of cooperation that is built not on confrontation and the divide, but rather the core national interests and the civilizational peculiarities and one's own path of development. We also want to cooperate on mutually beneficial tracks such as trade, investment, food security, agriculture, including transport and logistics, protection of environment and humanitarian tracks. Dear friends, dear colleagues, in an era when climate change is increasing the frequency of natural disasters worldwide and causing considerable harm to public health, it is crucial for the SCO to increase cooperation to strengthen disaster risk reduction, prevention and emergency response efforts. Mongolia, due to its vast territory, unique natural and climatic conditions, and nomadic cultural heritage, is particularly vulnerable to climate change. Therefore, to mitigate the adverse effects of climate change and global warming, reduce desertification, forest depletion and soil degradation, and enhance greenhouse gas absorption and water resources, Mongolia has successfully initiated and implemented national movements such as Billion Trees and food supply and security. In this context, we reaffirm our aspiration to expand and deepen comprehensive cooperation with the participating states of the SCO. I invite you all to participate at a higher level and in broad representation in the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, COP17, to be held in Ulaanbaatar in 2026, where we will seek comprehensive solutions for climate adaptation, the protection of climate. Dear friends, dear colleagues, developing friendly relations and cooperation with our eternal neighbors, the Russian Federation and PRC, is one of Mongolia's top foreign priorities. We strive to further strengthen mutually beneficial political and economic cooperation with our traditionally friendly, comprehensive strategic partners and to implement wide-ranging joint projects and programs in various sectors that would benefit the regional prosperity. To this end, we are actively cooperating to implement joint projects such as the Mongolia-Russia-China Economic Corridor Program, the Transit Mongolia Initiative, as well as the construction of highways, railways, and natural gas pipelines connecting the three countries. Leveraging its unique geographic location that brings together Europe and Asia, Mongolia is keen on collaborating with SCO member states on major infrastructure, urban development and energy projects with the aim of becoming a trade, tourism and transport logistics hub connecting Asia and Europe under the Transit Mongolia vision. We stand ready to turn projects and programs that contribute to regional integration into concrete actions, including cooperation to facilitate trade and transport, develop transit transportation, expand railway and road networks, and construct new ports, international airports, regional transport and logistic hubs. Belarus. We believe that implementing these projects and programs in alignment with development initiatives of our two neighboring countries and within the framework of the SCO will make a meaningful contribution to regional development and integration. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we are confident that this summit will further consolidate the leadership and standing of the SCO within the international community, contribute to advancing global peace, security, and sustainable development goals, as well as strengthen trust, mutual respect, and cooperation among nations worldwide. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to His Excellency Mikhail Mishustin, Chairman of the Government of the Russian Federation, on assuming the chairmanship and successfully hosting this meeting. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Your Excellency. I would kindly ask to take the floor to the Chairman of the Council of Ministers, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Qatar, Mr. Al-Thani. Your Excellency, over to you. In the name of Allah,
سعادة السيد ميخائيل ميشوستين رئيس وزراء روسيا الاتحادية، أصحاب السعادة رؤساء الوفود، الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أود في البداية أن أتقدم بالشكر الجزيل إلى الصديق
Mr. Mishustin, at the outset, I would like to express my appreciation to my dear friend, Mr. Mishustin, for this invitation to take part in this meeting. It's a pleasure to be here with you at the meeting of Heads of Government Council. I'm happy to participate in this very important meeting that brings us together, that helps build our cooperation. At the outset, I would like to thank the Russian Federation, the friendly state of ours, for the efforts to organize and to host this meeting. I would like to express my appreciation as well to the Secretary General of the organization. Our participation is a follow-up to our commitments to deepen cooperation within the SCO. Our countries seek to build dialogue, coordination, and to have this joint effort to confront new threats, joint threats and challenges. Throughout many years, the SCO has become a platform to have fruitful dialogue for cooperation, cultural exchange, and I would like to reaffirm that the vision of Qatar is in line with the SCO Charter, which stipulates the need to achieve mutual respect to cultures and to achieve the sustainable economic growth. Qatar assumes that the sustainable development is one of the key elements of ensuring the prosperity of peoples. This is also fully in line with our development vision for 2030. It has to do with the development of economy and human capabilities, environment. And judging by that vision and the readiness to have the international partnership, we believe that the SCO is an important strategic partner for us, and we work together to achieve regional stability and to confront common threats. We're happy to be partner in this dialogue, and we seek to work in such a manner that would benefit all our countries. I would like to reaffirm the need to mobilize our efforts to confront our common threats and challenges, including the ones that face the international peace and security. Qatar says that it is ready to support the cultural dialogue to overcome water crisis. It is important that our country is also ready to mediate. It is a trustworthy partner in overcoming international and regional crises. Let me express my certitude that this meeting will yield tangible result. I thank you. Peace be upon you. Thank you, Excellency Altani. I give the floor to the representatives and leaders of the SCO. Floor is given to Secretary General of the SCO. Mr. Gernikbayev. Excellency, Mr. Mishustin, heads of delegations, I would like to express my appreciation to the Russian Federation for the excellent chairmanship and for the meticulous preparation for the Council of Heads of Government. During the Tanzanian summit that concluded the successful chairmanship of China, we achieved tangible, practical results. We enhanced cooperation on all tracks, and that is contributed by the Russian chairmanship within the Council of Heads of Government. Here provided is the information on the implementation of trade and economic cooperation, and I would like to specifically delve on a number of aspects that are important for the Secretariat. We have analyzed the implementation of proposals that were voiced during the heads of state during the summit, and we saw that there is room for improvement that is supported by many heads of state. The Secretariat proposed for consideration of national coordinators the algorithm for considering leaders' initiative in order to increase the effectiveness of the implementation. A lot depends on the efficiency of the work of various agencies and ministries, and in order to increase the motivation and the efficiency, we also propose to the member states a possible order of informing the heads of government on the results of the work of the session of national coordinators. We increase mutual trade within the SCO, and achieving more tangible results on various tracks could be contributed by creating favorable conditions, preferences for the SCO member states. To fully unlock the investment potential of the organization, commercial banks could be engaged in financial cooperation. Under the aegis of the organization, we can have subsidies for loaning SMEs. Distinguished heads of government, upon the instruction of heads of state, were actively advancing the enhancing of the SCO activities. Together with the member states, we are working comprehensively to adjust the legal framework to fit modern requirements. We are to address some issues that are well overdue, that have to do with personnel, interpreters' job, and the analytical expert work of the organization. We will full-heartedly support the work of the Kyrgyz chairmanship in the Council of Heads of Government, as well as the Tajik presidency in the Council of Heads of States. By way of concluding, let me confirm that the Secretariat is ready to propose our proposals to increase our efficiency. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Mr. Yermakbayev. I give the floor to the Director of the Executive Committee of the Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure of the SCO, Mr. Sharshayev. Over to you. Excellency Mr. Mishustin, distinguished heads of delegations, distinguished participants to today's session, allow me to sincerely thank the host country, the Russian Federation. Thank you for this invitation to take part in the session of the Council of Heads of Government of the SCO. Thank you for the superb level of organization and for the warm welcome. The global geopolitical turmoil and the reform of international relations that we have been witnessing over the past times leads not only to destabilization in the whole world, but also it leads to growing terrorist activities, including within the SCO area of purview. Against this backdrop, regional anti-terrorist structure has been implementing a range of measures to build confidence-building measures to confront through security threats and challenges. In 2024, the competent body prevented 43 terrorist attacks, including thanks to exchange of operative information. 370 crimes were prevented these were extremist and separatist crimes. We detained 2,145 leaders and henchmen of terrorist organizations. We have eliminated 146 and we arrested 34 international foreign terrorists. We have revealed 268 channels of funding and 37 channels of illegal migration. They were used for terrorist and separatist and extremist purposes. We have halted 2 channels of illegal trafficking in weapons and munition. We have seized 12,000 weapons, 342 explosives, 5,085 kilos of explosives, and over 200,000 munitions. We have intercepted over 200 drones, and they were used for terrorist purposes and for smuggling. And the results of RAD's work were reported during the Tianjin summit to the heads of state, and within the RADs we have developed a program of cooperation for member states to prevent extremist ideology within the SCO. For 2026-2030, we have signed an agreement to establish a universal center to confront threats and challenges to security of the SCO member states. In order to implement this task, within the RADs, the relevant authorities of the SCO established joint expert group to create the Universal Center. The readiness to use this potential was expressed by two national coordinators, and upon the foreign ministers' meeting, it is the main body responsible for the establishment of the Universal Center. Having said that, I am proud to report that according with the funding rules of the SCO, we have had the external audit of the work of our entity for 2020-2024. And following this audit, we made a conclusion that the budget of the Executive Committee of RADs was used in a rational way, and the reporting was made in line with the requirements. Currently, the implementation of the budget is going on according to plans. 76% of the budget was used, and the rest will be used by the Executive Committee to implement and to carry out key international events in November and December this year. In this context, we thank you for agreeing upon the changes in the funding rules of the SCO, and this will allow the interested parties to address the issue of timely payment of annual share contributions. Excellencies, heads of government, prime ministers, by way of concluding, let me thank you for the comprehensive support to RAD's activities, for creating favorable conditions for addressing in a high-quality level the tasks that were set by our countries. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Excellency, I give the floor to private entities of the SCO, Chair of the SCO Business Council, Zheng Hunbin, over to you. Excellency Mr. Mishustin, distinguished ministers, dear colleagues, on behalf of the SCO Business Council, I would like to say that it's a great honor for me to take part in the current session. I would like to tell you about our results. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the SCO governments for the active support to our regional cooperation, as was previously mentioned by Mr. Li Can. In September this year, during the Tianjin summit of the SCO, our presidency came up with an initiative on global management, global governance. And at this forum, very important arrangements were reached. Over the past year, the Business Council, guided by the spirit of Shanghai, paid a great deal of attention to various aspects of cooperation in economy, trade, humanitarian tracks. We showed the responsibility of business community of the SCO when it comes to international cooperation. Our main tracks are consolidation of broad consensus, joint establishment of cooperation opportunities in July, focusing on within the SCO Plus format, we had the business forum in Beijing. 104 representatives participated among the government and the business communities. We discussed important issues, regional integration, energy transition. We published a final report on supply chains of the SCO. It proposed a new development model in supply chains, and this report was welcomed and appreciated. Secondly, we need to strengthen trade and economic cooperation to incentivize regional economic growth. We have arranged multiple visits of Chinese delegations. They visited Russia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, the UAE, Saudi Arabia. Tangible arrangements were reached in oil and gas, agriculture, IT, and so on. Within the third international exhibition of supply chains organized by the Chinese Committee for Assisting Global Trade, representatives of trade associations from 13 countries and partners of the SCO participated. We assisted and facilitated the Russian Ministry of Trade and Industry to host the Red Square Festival. As a result, 101,400,000 contracts were signed. We need to incentivize regional contracts and build a framework for win-win cooperation. We arranged a number of events, namely the visit of a business community to the regions of China, arbitration forum of the SCO, negotiations between local authorities and business in Shandong province in Zhongzhen city, and this is facilitating practical cooperation.
Next, we need to implement all the agreements reached at the Tianjin summit. First and foremost, we need to facilitate trade liberalization. We need to promote the initiative One Belt, One Road initiative. We need also to promote the implementation of projects that are aimed at developing green energy. We need to strengthen our cooperation in supply chains and production chains, ensure the safety and stability at the SCO space. Thank you. I thank Zheng Hunbin, and now I give the floor to the chairman of the China Development Bank, the bank that chairs the SCO Interbank Consortium, Tan Ziyun. Distinguished heads of government, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Interbank Association was established in Moscow several decades ago, and now we are meeting here in Moscow again, and I'm honored to represent the China Development Bank. Our bank chairs the SCO Interbank Consortium, and I will present a report of our work for 2025. For many years, members of the SCO Interbank Consortium have been implementing agreements that were reached by various SCO mechanisms. Our Interbank Consortium develops cooperation in various fields. Thanks to co-finance and credit extension, we contribute to the implementation of joint projects. For example, we have extended credits of 1 trillion yuan. These are the projects launched in green energy, low carbon energy, etc. Moreover, the Interbank Consortium pays special attention to the development independent intellectual smart financial system. Over the past 20 years, our actions led to the signature of various statements and documents, and therefore we have reaffirmed our commitment to continue the sustainable development of the SCO. We also developed various documents about the SCO's results, and we also have drafted various plans and projects necessary for the implementation of our decisions. Moreover, the Interbank Consortium needs to promote intercultural cooperation and dialogue. For example, in Sindao, we have held a special workshop where we discussed our cooperation and our actions to develop and to ensure staff training and capacity building. We also need to take action to invite foreign nationals to come for studies in China. And looking into the future, we will follow and will be guided by all the agreements that were reached at the Tianjin summit, and we will continue to build our independent financial platform in order to promote the qualitative development of the SCO. Thank you. I thank His Excellency Tanzun. Colleagues, I would like to thank everyone for their statements made both in restricted and expanded formats. I kindly ask the SCO Secretariat to take into account all the proposals that were put forward today. It is important to strengthen SCO as a leading international association. We need to work together in economy, trade, security, and humanitarian field, and I'm confident that the decisions we adopted today will give impetus to trade, economic, technological, and scientific cooperation, will create favorable conditions for launching new joint projects for the benefit of national economic development and for the well-being of the SCO countries. Now, Tajikistan assumes the chairmanship in the SCO Heads of Government Council. Your Excellency Rasulzada, I congratulate you on this responsible mission. I wish you every success. I also would like to wish success to the Prime Minister of Kyrgyzstan, who will chair the SCO Heads of State Council. Now let's go to the ceremony of signing the SCO documents.
2, 3, 4, 5. Пошло? Раз.
Good afternoon, distinguished representatives of mass media, ladies and gentlemen. Today, another meeting of the SCO Heads of Government Council took place. Participants have reaffirmed their commitment to achieve practical results. Certain decisions were made to enhance multifaceted cooperation. The Russian side has carried out all the necessary serious preparations and organizations by paying a special focus on providing substantive content to the SCO agenda. I would like to thank Russia for the successful organization of the SCO Heads of Government Council and for extending us a warm welcome. Today's session was organized in a constructive and business-like atmosphere in the spirit of mutual respect and desire to achieve a new level of cooperation. The traditional work of the SCO Heads of Government Council was focused on cooperation in practical areas with a focus on priority areas of trade and economic cooperation. This year, meeting took place in a modified format. In practice, there were two meetings in restricted and expanded formats. During the meeting in the restricted format, heads of governments, with the participation of leaders of the SCO bodies, discussed the current developments in the global economy and the further strengthening of the economic dimension of the SCO. There was a sincere exchange of views on the relevant issues of the current agenda, including issues of practical cooperation and improvement of the SCO's work. Participants focused on discussing the further implementation of decisions made by the SCO summit in Tianjin on September 1st, as well as other crucial documents, including the SCO development strategy until 2035, the program for multilateral trade and economic cooperation of the SCO member states, and the SCO strategy for economic development until 2030. Participants also took stock of the meetings of heads of ministries and agencies. They have discussed various cooperations, various SCO platforms like Interbank Consortium and Business Council. Participants also exchanged views on a number of practical issues with regard to improve the efficiency of relevant ministerial and expert mechanisms of the SCO works, as well as to improve the effectiveness of permanent SCO bodies. Heads of government also discussed regional security in the context of the work carried out by the SCO to improve the existing mechanisms. Response to challenges and threats to the security of the SCO member states, transformation of the regional anti-terrorist structure in Tashkent into the Universal Center to counter challenges and threats, Center of Information Security, Center for Countering Transnational Crime in Bishkek, as well as the establishment of the Anti-Drug Center in Dushanbe. The meeting also touched on the financial and budget and personnel aspects of the SCO and its executive bodies. In the meeting in the expanded format was attended by the delegations of observer states and dialogue partners, as well as delegations invited by the chairmanship, as well as leaders of SCO organizations and leaders of non-governmental organizations. The countries reaffirmed their commitment to developing multilateral cooperation, and by using the potential of a broad range of participants of the SCO communities in such areas like trade, economy, investment, agriculture, finance, e-commerce, social protection, education and science, and the relevant exchanges. One of the key issues was the further implementation of political agreements reached at the SCO summit in Tianjin. In particular, decisions to establish an SCO development bank and intensification of consultations to discuss comprehensive issues of its operation. They also discussed the increased use of national currencies and the improvement of financial infrastructure of the SCO. They also focused on innovations and technologies that could become a catalyst for economic growth and sustainable development in the SCO member states. Countries reaffirmed their commitment to have a large number of exchanges in tourism, education and science, as well as to develop cooperation in sports. So during their meeting, the heads of delegations put forward a number of initiatives, and they put forward a number of proposals to strengthen mutually beneficial cooperation. The documents were adopted that contribute to development cooperation in the social welfare and social protection for the years 2026-2027. Action plan to implement the concept of cooperation between railway administrations, railways of the SCO member states for the period 2026-2027, etc. In particular, I would like to underline that the Heads of Government Council meeting has demonstrated the sustainable development of the SCO. In 2025, a large number of events took place in many SCO member states. Yesterday, at the initiative of the SCO Secretariat and the Russian chairship, with the support of the Roscongress Foundation, we have successfully organized a SCO Forum on Sustainable Development. SCO countries have reaffirmed their commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, to ensuring ecological security, to countering climate change, and to using green technologies. Distinguished representatives of mass media, we are convinced that lasting peace, stability, and mutual understanding between peoples are important in implementation of proposals and initiatives aimed at strengthening positions of the SCO at the international stage. In conclusion, I would like to state we have not just organized yet another meeting of the SCO Heads of Government Council, we have made another breakthrough in the SCO's development by reinforcing the unity of our visions for our future visions, and thank you for your attention. Thank you.